Oh, let me check these out. Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me just check. So it should be going up into the Facebook group now. All right, so if you're watching in the Facebook group, hello. Okay, 2 seconds. Let me just see. Oh, yes, we have. Okay, right. Hello, team. Hello, everybody who is watching. Tonight, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about a little bit about depression. All right, so I've got a few things to speak about, and then what I'm going to do is I've got some points. Okay, so obviously it is winter. It's getting to the time of the year where it's been cold. We've had 848 days of January, and now we're moving on. We're starting to come into spring. Now, I've been speaking to a lot of people recently regarding depression. Right, it seems to be quite big at the moment, if I'm honest. You know, and I'm going to talk about a chat that I had with one of my friends yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And actually, another chat I've had over the past few weeks. So, in fact, let me just close this door. Right, I'm going to close this door. I'm going to see about half an hour. Okay, so well, if you're in and you want to say hello, feel free to say hello. All right, if you want to put some comments up and any points. What I'm going to do as well is I'm just going to open up the Facebook group just to see if any come through here as well. Okay, this has also been loaded up into the app. All right, so just to see if how it works in the new app as well. All right, so obviously I went over to my mate's house yesterday after watching Max play football, and he looked, if I'm honest, he looked a bag of shit. And we had a quick chat, and he said to me that everything had been going quite south for the past few months. Said he's been drinking a lot, he's been isolated, you know, he's moved into somewhere. He's not very good with technology, so he hasn't got anything to do with technology, and he hasn't, you know, as I say, he's been drinking quite a lot. He's been mailing about just under a litre of spirits a night. So it was like, you know, come on, mate, let's move away. Obviously, we moved away from Max before this point, and then we went downstairs and had a quick chat where he basically opened up and burst out in a flood of tears. You know, and so, you know, he's been a long friend, near where I work. So, you know, we had a quick chat. I've trained him a few times previously before, and I was sat there and I was like, what's going on, mate? And he's like, you know, just moved into a new place, X, Y, and Z. Well, I've had enough of work. I'm basically self-medicating every single day, and it's not really doing any benefit for me. You know, and I was like, look, I'm going to speak to you how I always speak, and I was like, it's not going to get better if you don't do anything. It's not going to get better if this. It's not going to get better if that. And, you know, and he's like, yeah, but, you know, drink, it numbs the feeling. Which, you know, yes, it numbs a feeling at that specific time for about 20 minutes, and then it feels a lot worse later on during the day. It feels a lot worse. You know, and he then messaged me about 3 hours later and said, you know what, mate, that talk has really helped me out. And I had another talk the other day about another guy who, I think I put this onto my stories as well. You know, he's both been clients. He's the one before who stopped training with me recently. Just popped in to say hello. And then this other guy is somebody I know basically said, I don't want to talk to, well, you've probably seen this on my stories today, but I don't want to talk to people, to my missus, because I feel that it's going to get turned around into something it isn't, you know. And this is a point, you know, is that everybody is speaking about, oh, you know, everyone's got to think about other people's emotions. We want men to talk a little bit more. All right, but you know, if you've read the post what I put today, you know, that like you would do your friends, you have to also give what we all have to do is give our partners that freedom to express themselves where there's no judgment. You know, I've spoke to quite a lot of people within our community over the past, well, in fact, over the past few years about depression. It seems to come around all the time, depression. You know, and these are the points that we need to be focusing on. All right, so what I'm going to do tonight is, you know, I'm going to read some points that come out about depression. I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to then talk about, you know, tips and tricks that we can put in to help ourselves when we're feeling like this. And I do speak all the time regarding. Oh, I feel like my internet's just gone a bit way. I put some notes down there, so I'm going to read these. All right, but you know, obviously, I'm not I'm not a therapist, all right, but what I have done is I have trained thousands of people before. You know, I do a lot of research, I do all this, and you know, certain things that don't help with depression. Now, I read this quote the other day, which I put into the group as well, which said that, you know, why when you're going through hell would you stop? You know, and that is a huge point. Is when shit starts to hit the fan, why are we going to stop? Why do you want to stay in hell? Why do you know? And people go, oh, but you know, that person's feeling depressed. We can't tell them to push through. You know, you don't know how it feels. All right, that's yeah, okay. Certain times you don't know how a person is feeling. All right, but it doesn't mean that what we should do at that point is stop and not suggest things. Keep going, push through. You know, I did put up. I'm constantly putting up about certain stuff about on this point is that if you are feeling down, do something. All right, if something if you're bad at something, you need to do it anyway, because if it's beneficial, it doesn't matter how bad you actually are. But two, you know, there's certain aspects that make us feel a lot better. And exercise is one of these points. Exercise has been proven to be as beneficial, if not more. Now, I've written a few points down on here. All right, you know, depression and mental health can be worsened by a few factors. And a few of these factors are the points that we tend to go for when we feel a bit shit. And you know, some of the comments, you know, from people, even though they come from the right place, may not be the most beneficial. Or you've had a really bad day, you're stressed. Be kind to yourself. Like, being kind to ourselves is not drinking. Being kind to ourselves is not forsaking all those benefits from exercise, getting outside, moving around a little bit. All right, they're actually points that we want to be focusing on. Now, obviously, stress, lack of sleep, substance abuse, whether it's booze, drugs, loads of fags, all right, whatever else, isn't something that we want to be doing. Yes, it might numb it for 20 minutes, all right, but you know, where it numbs it to you, it probably puts it onto a lot of people as well. And just by numbing it, this is what one of the points I was speaking to my mate about, was just because it numbs it today for you, how do you feel tomorrow? It was like, I feel shit, I feel worse, I feel really, really bad. And I'm like, so it isn't numbing it for you, is it? What it's doing is, I'm saying this, I'm hoping the canister. But I've not been drinking and I don't use it for that stuff. You know, and I said to him, I was like, yeah, but it might numb it in the day, might numb it for 20 minutes, but when that hangover kicks in the next day, you are going to be even worse. You're going to be in a lot worse position than you was before. You're going to feel like shit, and you're going to feel really, really low. And then what you think is, I need to have another drink to make myself feel a little bit better. Then you numb it again that day, end up leveling out more booze or whatever else it is, because you need to get that feeling again of feeling a bit numb. And then that hangover gets even worse the next day. All right, you know, obviously certain things like unhealthy relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's intimate relationships, and isolation. Now, the people I've been speaking to a little bit, well, quite recently and all the time, in fact, one of the main points that they speak about is that they start to isolate themselves. They don't go to events, they don't go to see their friends, they try and avoid social situations, and they get home and then either self-medicate with booze, or they sit there and start and feel bad and just overplay things in the head. You know, and obviously you've got certain other aspects as well, like traumatic life experiences as well. And you know, there isn't all, you know, doesn't matter what we do go through, there's always a positive what we can look for. There's always something that we can try and find to make ourselves feel better. And you know, as my mate said to me the other day and last week, he did say to me, he's like, after speaking to you, I feel a lot better. I don't feel like I'm on my own now, you know. And I was like, look, I was like, if you need to call me, call me. I do not want to be hearing about you jumping from a rope. I was like, that is, you know, I said, everything I'm going to speak to you, I'll speak to you as I will with everybody else. I'll speak to myself, all right? Because you know, sometimes what we also do is, and you know, this is my personal opinion, but when I talk how I usually do to people who feel a bit low, it does seem to help. Whereas we try and skate around stuff, we try and do this, and I was like, look, mate, I was like, you are going to feel worse if you do nothing. All right, you are going to start to drink, you're going to feel like 10 times worse. You're going to get to this point, and you're just going to explode. And I was like, right, where is your easiest win you can get now? And he was like, and I was like, I'm not sure. I was like, okay. So I was like, if you look at yourself over this next week, I was like, what do you need to do? You need to stop drinking. Yep. So I probably need to get out a little bit more and talk, all right, and exercise and walk. And I was like, okay, so I was like, talking from this now, what can you do today to make yourself feel better? What's the best thing on a hangover? I was like, get out for a walk. I was like, just walk around the streets. I went, because the thing is, by walking, you're releasing endorphins, you're releasing those happy drugs, you're getting fresh air, you're not sat in the house isolating, looking at the four walls, thinking life is shit. All right, you're going to get out, you start to process things, like, you know, like we talk about, so obviously self-care, meditation, not meditation, sorry, I can't remember what it's called. Let's call it self-care, you know, where you, oh no, I can't remember the name. All right, but you know, when you're walking around, you start to process things. You fucking get it around and you throw it out there. You don't let it sit in your head. All right, and this, I think that personally, you know, that if you put a set of foundations in, give it a week, give it 2 weeks, give it 3 weeks. If you still feel really, really, really bad, then maybe go and see somebody. But I think that what we need to do first is, before we do all that, we need to set our own self-care, because there's no point trying to find somebody else to help us if we, you know, we can't sometimes help ourselves. Yes, I know that's probably going a little bit about the grain, because people do say, you know, you've got to go see a professional in this, but then if you go see a professional, that you start to feel a little bit better. Are you then going to rely on that person and go, oh God, I only feel good when I speak to this person, I only feel good when I do this? Whereas it's like, do you know what, I'm doing all this, I feel a bit better. I still feel a bit low at times, but I'm not feeling as bad. Or if you are, right, go see a counsellor, go see maybe a doctor, and then see what the issue, what you can resolve from that point. All right, so you may need to seek professional help. Obviously, as I said, I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach. I'm not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist or a doctor, right? But the few things you can do, which is proven through studies, through obviously all the research that comes through, is, you know, talking is good. I like movement is good. Getting out, trying to be happy. And when, you know, then you also sort of get people going, oh, what an easy thing to say if you're not depressed. Try to be happy. But happiness isn't something that we're all built with. You know, everybody has to try to do something. If you try, over time, it will happen. Obviously, we don't want to be looking at toxic positivity where everything's all happy days. Oh, we have all smiles, and you go home and torment again. All right, so if you need to, seek professional help. One of the biggest ones, engage in physical activity, physical exercise. All right, this has been shown to be, I think it's somewhere of 40%, it reduces symptoms of depression and mental health. All right, exercise is one of the biggest things that we can do to help. Now, what we know with exercise, you can do 5 minutes here, 10 minutes, going for a quick short run, picking a few weights up, and then taking it from there and building. My foundation is, I'm going to give myself at least 10 minutes every morning, compose myself, get up, move around, do a little bit of exercise. How do I feel after exercise? I still feel shit. Do you feel less shit than you did before? Yeah, it's an absolute winner. You know, Good sleep hygiene. All right, but this probably also comes down to not being on the lash all the time. All right, so getting a bit better sleep, making sure that you're sleeping properly. Another reason why exercise is so important, because exercise helps with sleep. So the more we can, not the more we can sleep, because too much sleep is also just as knackering as too little. All right, so doing little certain things that you can do before bedtime, create a decent bedtime routine is proven to help. All right, connect with others and a social routine. Now, this is what I've just been speaking about: isolation. You need a circle. All right, you need a positive circle around you that you can speak to. You do feel comfortable with. You don't feel, you're not isolated. Certain things like that, getting out, talking to people, trying to build that social aspect again. So it's not wake, work, sleep, wake, work, sleep, because all the work and no play makes everybody an angry person, doesn't it? So the more we can focus on building it up, the better we are going to feel as well. Self-care activities. Now this is massive. All right, closing those windows, closing those curtains, opening a bottle of booze. All right, isn't self-care. It is self-sabotage. Yes, there is times where we just need to turn everything off. I have to do it myself, because work so much. I went back tonight. I'm just closing everything down. I'm going to put film on. I'm just going to relax. So whatever your self-care activities is, I wouldn't class, even though exercise is self-care, I wouldn't just class it into this, but I class exercises. I'm exercising to make myself feel better. Yes, it is still self-care. All right, but something that you enjoy. All right, find a hobby. Do you like gardening? Do you like going for walks? Do you like getting out each weekend and going into the hills? What are those aspects that you can do most days as well, but it's going to make you feel better? Or even once or twice a week, where you go, right, I'm starting to do this, I'm learning French, I'm learning this, I'm learning that, etc., and start to build that into your routine. Now you can see that everything we're speaking about at the moment is positive actions. So positive actions to make ourselves feel better. We're building up these foundations that go, right, every day I'm doing 20 minutes of this, every day I'm going to get out for a walk. I've wanted to learn, I don't know, French, the piano, whatever. I wanted to play, I like playing football. I want to get out playing football again. So I'm going to go play football, because then you're also going to get that community and that social network as well. Talking is huge. Now everyone says that, well, everyone says a lot of men don't talk, all right, but men do talk, and you need to find that supportive network where you can talk to them and it's judgment free, where you just sit there and you listen and go, do you want me to throw a little bit of advice in? That's what I did with my mate yesterday. When I saw him, I was like, you look a bag of shit. I was like, what's up? And he was like, oh, nothing. I went, tell me. No, I was like, tell me. I was like, because I'm not leaving until we have a conversation, because I know you're not in the right space. And then we went downstairs. He started speaking. Obviously, then he opened up a bit more, and we got to the root cause. All right, but not knowing that you're not alone is one of the biggest things that you can do for helping yourself as well. Everybody feels shit. Everybody has shit days. Everybody will have dark days where they feel down. But what you need to remember, or you need to push into your friends as well, or yourself when you're feeling low, is dark days don't last. All right, and it's we can do things to make those dark days easier, or we can do things to make those dark days harder. And then we need to work out what we're going to do. Are we going to then increase that? Are we going to make it easier, or are we going to push ourselves deeper into a hole where we think that we're alone, and we keep going, we isolate ourselves to the point of where we don't feel good? All right, obviously avoid drugs and avoid excessive drugs and booze. Booze is basically a drug anyway, and it is a depressant, and it's not an antidepressant. So if you're feeling shit, do the best thing for yourself. Don't drink. All right, because if you drink, you then start to self-sabotage. You start to self-medicate with booze. You wake up and you feel worse. So avoid, and drink for fun. Or if you're going to party with drugs, do that for fun as well. All right, obviously we're all adults. I'm not going to tell anybody what we can and can't do, but don't self-medicate. If you're going to do whatever you're going to do, make sure you do it and it's for fun, not to fucking get away from it. Because remember, we do need to go through those hard roads to progress. And being human, probably sorry, as we're human, one of the main things is we like to do is problem solve. So as I told you that I just we did with my mate the other day and yesterday was, what is your quickest win? What can you do today to make yourself feel better? How can you improve your mentality just a little bit? Because once you do it just a little bit, you can then build on that point and build it, build it, build it. And that comes on to my next point is challenge those negative thoughts, and adopt a more positive mindset. So we're going to start a put, I'm shit, I'm this, I'm a loser. Oh God, it's so bad for me. Nobody else is in the same situation. Avoid those thoughts. The moment you get them, where's my evidence on this? Where do I know that I'm shit? Where do I know that I fucked everything up? Where do I know this? Where do I know that nobody's in this problem? Where do I know this? All right, there's a difference between, as I put in a post this morning about being a sympathy whore and people who are actually down. All right, don't just look for sympathy. There's no, that's not going to help you. Not problem solving, and you're not getting to the point of where you want to be progressing. But reaching out and speaking to people is going to help a lot. Turning those negative thoughts into a positive action is going to make you feel a whole lot better. The more you focus on building this, turning that negative thought process to that little arsehole what lives in the back of your head, changing that mentality there, and keep proving drop dead Fred wrong, you will start to feel better. And also as well, practice activities where you're being intentional but bring happiness and joy. So the more you focus on bringing happiness, right, to yourself, telling yourself, yeah, I'm having a bit of a shit day, but I'm okay, I feel better. And that does a huge benefits inside our head. The amount of times like when I'm struggling, I've got loads on, or I've got everything's coming in, whack, 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 whack. I tell myself I'm better than this. I can cope. This is easy. It's easy. Oh, I've just got a little bit of stress. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna go for a walk. Go out for a walk, 10 minutes. Come back in. Okay, back. Am I back on it? Yeah, I feel better because I've just had that walk. All right. Obviously, everybody, as I said, everybody's experience with mental health is unique to them. All right, and what works for one might not work for everybody. So you need to find those little points. But this is where the culture we're in at the moment is, it basically shuts people down. They go, oh, but you don't know how I feel. Yeah, you're right. Right now, I probably don't know how you feel. But I've probably felt like that before. I know loads of people who have felt like that before. And it gets better. The more you focus on you now, it does get better. All right, so I might not know you're feeling right now because that's individual to you, because that's inside you. But I've probably felt that before. I've probably had those feelings, and I've used different techniques to help get myself out. I've used with our clients, we've used many different techniques to get it all out. All right, but the main point is don't sit in your shit. All right, what do I mean? That it's okay. All right, to feel a bit shit, a bit down. All right, that's okay. That's normal. It's a human process. We all feel good. We all feel bad. We all feel low. All right, but what's not okay? All right, and what we probably want to avoid is sitting in it. The more we sit in it, the worse we're going to feel. All right, so remember, it's okay not to be okay, all right, but it's not okay to still stay in not being okay, not help yourself, all right, because the more you refuse to help yourself, the worse you are going to feel. Now, remember, you're better than that, all right, and other people are better than this as well. So encourage them. If you notice that somebody's changed, somebody's personality's changed a little bit, or somebody who used to always want to meet up no longer wants to meet up, speak to them. All right, what's up? Oh no, nothing's up. All right, so tell me why. What's going on? Because you've changed. Oh, I'm just really busy with work. But are you okay? Yeah, okay. And then and sometimes this is maybe better to do face to face. But seeing if somebody's okay, seeing how they feel, seeing what you can do, or if they need any help, and then even saying, look, anything. All right, let's go. All right, you're busy. Let's go for a quick walk. Come on, and let's go. Oh, let's meet up later on and go for a walk. All right, so there's different things that we can do. As I just mentioned, that not everybody is going to respond the same way to every single point. But the majority of the foundations do. All right. And it's, it's important to find what's going to work best for you. All right, and be patient. People expect, oh, I feel shit and I don't feel better today. Fuck it, it's not working. I'm not going to exercise anymore. I'm not going to walk. I'm just going to sit down after work and watch Netflix. And then, oh God, this isn't working either. All right, it takes time. All right, being happy, being more mentally resilient, a little bit more mentally strong takes time. One of the biggest points which I just mentioned a second ago about problem solving. All right, that takes time. Not being, feeling low. All right, you solve that problem. No one's saying, oh, you can't experience feeling low. You don't want to experience that because that's the toxic positivity. But what we do want to be looking at is going, right, I feel low. All right, yeah. Why do I feel low? I feel a little bit low because of this. Am I diving deeper into this? Yes. All right. Am I overthinking this, complicating it in my own head and making a mountain out of a molehill? Yeah, I probably am. Okay, right. What actions do I need to take? I understand I feel this way. I feel this way because of this. Does this mean, and this is where we start to question our thoughts, does this mean I'm a shit person? No. Does it mean that I'm a loser? No. Does it mean this? No. What does it mean? It means that today or the past week, I've had a shit time. All right. Is that me? No, it's not me. It's, I'm not associating myself as being like that. I'm not going to let that take over and become my new being. I've done something to my shoulder, doing much dancing. All right. And, you may need to seek mental health help at certain times as well, because remember, mental health is just as important as physical health, if not more important. All right, but they both complement each other. Your mental health is shit, you don't want to exercise. But you start to exercise, you feel better. You feel better mentally. Oh, right, I now want to exercise a lot more because I know that this makes me feel good. This makes me feel strong. This makes me feel happier. So I need to be finding that time to get it done. So building a set of foundations. So we talk about this a lot, all right? But there's certain things, as I've been mentioning through, talking to people, getting outside, exercising, moving around a little bit more, not spending all that time sat behind a desk, having a social circle. Or if you haven't got one because you've isolated, find a hobby. And then by that hobby, you're going to find people who are the same as you, who like doing what you like doing, and you've got something in common with. So your community builds up. You start to talk to people a little bit more. You're talking energetically. You're talking fun. You're having a good time with it. And that is some of the main points that we can do. And and also as well, nutrition. Nutrition comes into it a lot of the time. But remember, healthy body, healthy mind. All right. So, and that includes exercise, walking, moving around, eating better. All right. So if you're eating takeaways all the time, you're eating microwave meals, etc., you might not be feeling the best, but you might feel a little bit sluggish. You might not be sleeping well. All these contribute to what it is. So if I was going to give a little bit of advice, is get out every day, get your steps in, move around as much as you can, give yourself maybe 20 minutes every morning where you do something positive for yourself, whether it's mindfulness. That's what I was trying to think of earlier, mindfulness. All right, that's where I get mine, is walking. Whether it's mindfulness, all right, exercise, if you have to journal, do some journaling, get all this, what's in here, get it out. Exercise is one of the best things to get it out. Going for a walk in the fresh air is another very good one for getting it out there, because when you're walking, you start to think about stuff. I've become very productive when I walk and exercise. I finish training, I'm like, oh God, my head hurts. I need to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Oh God, I have to give myself loads of work to do. But it gets it out, And one of the best things is like lifting heavy shit. Like lifting heavy stuff makes you feel really, really good while you're feeling low. To pick something heavy up, strain yourself, you're like, fucking yes. And then that sets you up for the rest of the day. So, schedule your days. There's no excuse for you not to do walking or exercise, all right? Even if you're feeling good, but if you're feeling low, that's a more important time. Do not give up exercise or walking around because your work has picked up. All you're setting yourself up for is a stressful downfall. Find somebody you can talk to, whether it's a mate, whether it's just 5 minutes. Even, you don't even need to call up somebody and say you're feeling low. Just call them up and start asking them questions about them. because that's another one as well. Helping people makes you feel better. So you start asking people about them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this, blah blah blah." You're talking away. You don't need to tell somebody you're feeling low. You can just have a general conversation with them. Just connect to people on that point. Um, Obviously, your sleep routine start to improve your sleep routine, but that should improve the more you exercise, the more you walk. So I speak to people going, "Oh, I'm not sleeping well." So by me not sleeping well, I'm now going to stop X, Y, and Z and see if I can sleep better, have more time in bed. And that, I said this to someone, was it 2 days ago? I can't remember, maybe on Friday. And I was like, you do realise that exercise improves sleep, and the more you don't exercise, your sleep's going to probably get a little bit worse. And I was like, and then your sleep routine's out. So you're going to bed at midnight, you're waking up at 2, you're waking up at 3, you're sleeping through, you're getting up half an hour, 45 minutes later than you should do, and then it just keeps going right. So you're going to bed at 2, you're getting up at 7, 6, 7 o'clock, you're feeling like shit. And then instead of just going right, and then I get up from work, and I need to exercise, but I can't because I'm such a stressful day. I'm so tired, I didn't sleep well last night. I need to catch up on my sleep. Go back to bed, repeat again. And it's not until you start to bring in something that's energetic that makes you then go, God, I've had quite a lot of exercise today. I've had a lot of movement. I need to go to bed earlier. And then you catch your sleep routine back into check. All right. So what else was what was the last one as well? And the other one is, trying to be happy. Yes, trying to be happy. All right, don't try and be sad. Don't try and overthink. Don't try and think of how shit the world is. Don't try and think where it's gone wrong here, where it's gone where it's gone there. Try and find some joy. Try and find a bit of happiness. All right, do something, as I said a moment ago, helping somebody, moving around. All right, getting out and focusing on your hobby is going to do a lot more benefit for you than what it would be if you're not doing. Let me just check on Facebook, see if there's any comments. No. So there are the points. Has anybody got any points they want to put in? All right, obviously there's a comments box for those who are watching YouTube. You want to whack anything on in Facebook, all right, feel free to put it inside the comment section. Let's have a quick chat. Do you have any that you want to add in? Is there any there that you may want to throw in as well? All right, what do you do when your mental health is feeling down? What do you do when you're low? What sort of behaviours do you put in? Let's have a look. No, that's not there. Let's give it a few minutes. So just to summarise, so focus on building the positives, all right, and start to reduce the negatives. And the easier you do this is just start to introduce positive actions into your day. So I'm sleeping like shit. My sleeping's not very well. Okay, don't focus on sleeping. Focus on something that's going to probably tire you out, because as a byproduct of tiring yourself out, you go into sleep better. Oh, I'm drinking a lot, so I've got a hangover. Okay, cool. Don't look at restricting your drinking to start with. Start to exercise, because when you feel better from exercise, you go, actually, I don't want to drink tonight because I've done so well with my exercise. And as a byproduct, that will also drop down. So it's the same with habit building, that the more we focus on building the positives, the more we then start to reduce the negatives. Get out, take those 20 minutes for yourself every morning. Whether you sit there, you do a stretching session, whether you sit there, you do an 8-week lean, whether you do a workout, whether you go for a walk, whether you do some mindfulness, whether you journal. All right, plan that into your morning straight away. Start that day strong. Exercise, move, eat a little bit better, and think about taking up hobbies. All right, the more we focus on all of those actions, the better we are going to feel. Okay, right. I'm going to leave that there for tonight. Hopefully you picked up some decent points on there, taken some stuff away, and some things that you can add in. All right, but as I said, if you start to notice people are starting to act a little bit different, reach out. And as I've mentioned in my stories today, what probably went up on it'll be on Facebook and Instagram. All right, is also as well, if you are in that supportive role, don't be judgmental all the time. Yes, speak to somebody with care. Speak directly to somebody, because sometimes we do need to be told, because we sit there and we go whack. All right, but also have the empathy. you know, and maybe ask, oh, do you want a little bit of advice? Do you want something that I've done? You know, and sometimes, you know, that's, I think like some, depending on you, but you've also got to understand that person's personality. You know what you can say to somebody and you know what you can't. Whereas my mates, the two mates I spoke to, I know that, you know, when they're feeling low, I can speak to them and I'll just be direct. I'm like, you need to sort your shit out. And they go, you're right. And I'm like, right, what are you going to do? You know, very, very, very direct. But that's not going to work with everybody. Some people you need to ask them for, you know, let them speak, ask them. But also as well, remember on that point as well, what we don't want to do is then start to ruminate. Oh, I know it's so bad for you. It's really so bad. And then we start rumination without action drags people down further. So if we are going to talk, we need to come up with either through them or through both of you, is come up with a plan. What you can do, what you can find is that smallest win to start with to make yourself feel better, and then build it from there. You know, just talking over and over and over again about the same thing is going to lead people down the garden path where they're going to start to feel worse, and there's going to be they'll see it as no way out. You know, and also I don't know if I just mentioned that, but non-judgmental. Don't sit there, you know, but if somebody does say something to you, how low they're feeling, you turn it back around and make it your issue. Oh, you're feeling like it's because of me. Oh, well, you know, if someone says you're depressed, they're depressed, go, okay, you know, why are you depressed? And it's not, oh, do you not love me no more? Do you not feel this? And then they turn it into, that makes that problem bigger for them. You know, and I have spoken to, and I'm going to say this one to the ladies who are watching this. So I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying it singling out. I'm not saying that anyone's bad, all right, but I do speak to a lot of blokes as well, and I do listen to what they do say. And then, you know, one of the, you know, we do get told, or, you know, being a bloke at the moment, we keep getting told, you need more emotions. You need to have this. You need to speak your emotions. You need to do this. You've got to do this. All right, it is quite a big thing, you know, being a bloke at the moment, because you sometimes be criticised for everything, and then you get taught. Then you need to go, okay, I'll speak my emotions. All right, but the moment sometimes you do speak emotions, you then get criticised for speaking emotions. You get told you're wrong. You get told you don't feel like this. You haven't expressed it, mate. You haven't said I feel. You haven't said this. You haven't said this. Whereas remember, blokes and women are different. You know, blokes are a little bit. If a bloke says I feel shit, and say, you know, I feel shit. Okay, why do you feel shit? I just feel shit. I feel shit. All right, we don't need to, you know, if it don't answer the way you want it to be answered, it's okay. We're all different. And, you know, as I said, I've spoken to people before who said that you do start to express their feelings and it gets turned back around on them. All right, so that might be something to, obviously, we you know, we do know that with male suicides is so high, is that maybe sometimes that we do need that more of a support, just an ear to talk to, you know, because a lot of times I've got a few friends when I feel shit, I'm just like, right, mate, I'm just going to offload on you. I was like, and I'm like, whack, 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 and I'm like, and he's like, are you finished, you fag? I'm like, yep. Honestly, you might, it's not very PC, but you know, I'm on it. That's what some of my squaddy mates say. It's like, you finished your wet ass? I'm like, yep. All right, happy? Yeah. Do you want anything else? No. Piss off then. And he puts the phone down on me. And that's sometimes that is all you need, you know. But as I said, you've got to know that person who you're speaking to, like, to be saying certain things, you know. But that's how, you know, I know that I can just sit and I can just be like, right, I'm going to offload because I need to offload. And there's no judgment, there's no anything else. It's just like, yeah, we're back on the level now. Yeah, I feel loads better. Happy days. Or we go, do you want me to throw some in? Go do this. And I'm like, yeah, good idea. I can't thought about that. I'm going to go do that. All right, so obviously there's, and that works both as well for blokes listening to women as well. You know, sometimes we, as I speak to a lot of women as well, all right, we don't always need to try and problem solve for them. All right, sometimes they just need to also offload and just be sat there and listen. You know, obviously men and women are completely different. The way our brains work are completely different. The way we act is completely different. And you know, obviously, like blokes, well, majority of blokes, one talk, one listen, one talk, one listen, one talk, one listen, and that, you know, and then women are more one talks, two talks, you know, and interjecting. And that's how a woman views a conversation. A majority of women view a conversation, and it's how the majority of men view it. And then when you both try and speak different to each other, phone calls, blah blah blah. Are you listening? Yeah, yeah, but I'm not talking because you're talking. Oh, are you still there? Yeah, I'm still there. And then it's like the other way around. Sometimes it's, you know, so women think that men don't listen, and the other way around. Sometimes it's bloke will be talking, and a woman jumps in and be like, now just let me talk. Let me talk. It's like, but I am. You know, it's different aspects of certain things as well, which probably everyone needs to. We all are guilty of it. You know, both blokes and women. And the only reason I brought those stories up is because I've been speaking to a lot of blokes recently with these scenarios. Okay, right. So has anybody got any other points? Because I'm not sure whether anything's coming up. Is it coming up? I'm watching on YouTube and can't comment. Okay, you can still you can comment on the other video, on the actual video, the link I put up in the group, mate, if you want to. But you might not be able to comment because you maybe not signed into YouTube. Maybe, not sure. Okay, but right, I'm going to leave it there. If anybody has got any questions, any points, feel free in the Facebook group, or feel free once this isn't live to actually to comment on it as well. All right, but I think we've gone through all of it now. But there we go. Okay, right. So I'm going to end this chat right now. Okay, team. All right, enjoy.